Welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Throats. My name's Hannah. I write books and occasionally read them too, and this is just a little weekly catch-up for you guys. So, I am a day late in posting this. I was meant to film and update it yesterday, which is Sunday. It's now Monday the 9th, but you know, we can live with it. So, what have I been reading? I've been reading The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Siri, which you are currently resting on. And I am enjoying it. I'm about 100 or so pages in. This follows the story of Princess Melanie and her maidservant / temple daughter Priya. It's very lush and opulent setting. It's a South Indian inspired sapphic romance. I did use my Illumicrate prompt cards, which are just there, which I am enjoying using. The prompt that it gave me was POC author, excuse me, and Tasha Suri, while I think she is British, her parents do come from, I'm just gonna have to check, bear with me for the crazy camera angles. Right. I'm just ahead. Is that better? That's better. Alright. I have my Illumicrate cover. Isn't it pretty? It's dragons. And we know how I feel about dragons. Right, so study English and creative writing at Warwick University and now lives in London, where she occasionally works as a librarian and has a cat. Oh, cute. But I'm sure she mentioned, maybe it's in the acknowledgements. But yes, she was inspired by her love of Bollywood, and I'm sure it mentioned that she had immigrant parents, but well, I'm going to say immigrant because I think they were South Indian origin heritage. So that's that. But in this world, we follow, it's dual perspective. Well, actually, no, it's multi-perspective at this point. But we follow Princess Melanie, who basically, she'd had enough of her brother trying to be her older brother, but younger of the three siblings. He has now become emperor, and in the prologue, so this may be triggering for some people because there's burning, there's character death, there is a sickness. So if you are wary of that, please check a full list of trigger warnings. But I am enjoying it. In the prologue, we see 3 young women sentenced to burn on a pyre, because in that part of the religion, it's believed that if you are pure enough, you can achieve immortality by being burned. The maidservants go ahead with it, but Melanie says no, and that sets her on a course to be a prisoner at an old desecrated temple, which is where Priya comes in. Now, Priya is working as a maidservant currently, but she was raised as a temple daughter, and because of that, she has certain abilities given to her by the deathless waters that run underneath this temple, and she has a connection to this temple. So Melanie is imprisoned in the temple. It has a name, but I cannot remember what it's called. And then Priya, because she needs the money and because she is curious about getting her powers back, her full power, her full potential, takes up the offer of becoming her maidservant. And that's how these two characters meet, and as they grow, they realise that not everything is as it seems, and this is the first in a trilogy, and I am very much enjoying the writing style. When I can get a chance to read it, I am finding it very easy to read. It's not that thick. I don't think it's going to be a favourite unless something happens, but I will reserve judgment and probably get its own new trilogy. And I do want to widen my reading horizons. I do want to read more fantasy that isn't white, that isn't medieval setting, that has a bit of culture, a bit of flavour from other cultures, because I think it is important to be seen. And for me, I am lucky. I am a white cis straight female. I do get that representation from the majority of what I read, but I do feel that because I'm also disabled, and this is on me, it's not on writers, but because I do have a couple of learning disabilities, let's just call them, I don't always see that side of myself in literature. So I think it is important, where we can, to read outside of our own comfort. And when they're as beautifully written as this, it's easy. We don't mind. We learn. But you don't feel like you're learning because you are just enjoying the story. And there are some specific terms that are used for furniture, dress, pet names almost, or cultural aspects. They are, in my opinion, described enough in context, so at least I get a little bit of an idea. And it's not on authors to overly describe things. That's what Google's for, because overly describing is just as bad as under describing, and it takes people out of the story. If you don't know what something is and you can't get it from context clues, Google it. Don't badmouth the author. So it's my little rant over. So what else to talk about? Oh yes, I did film my goals video just before this, so that should be out on Wednesday. I know, three videos in 1 week hopefully, because I will be doing another chatty update on Sunday, all being well. So that's the reading update. The writing is going very well. I'm about 55,000 words, I want to say, into draft 1 of book 2 of my, it's at least a trilogy at this point, let's be honest. My contemporary fantasy, paranormal, witchy, werewolf romance with a little bit of a ghost slayer element, witch hunter thrown in for good measure vibes book. It is available on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited and paperback. The details are all down below. You know the drill by now. But I have just finished, I think, writing the midpoint. So I use a 3-act structure very loosely. I have an outline, a very good outline, but I don't always follow the outline. So I have no idea how long this book's actually going to be, other than it is going to be longer than the previous book. But, you know, that's why this is only first draft. So I'm just about to write the sort of that bit in between the midpoint and the climax of Act 3. So we're just in that little fun bit. And then from there, it's just wrapping everything up and setting up for the sequel, which shouldn't take too long, she says. The overall goal for that is to have first draft ready, complete and ready for edits by February at, I'm going to say the earliest, because I don't think I'll get it done in December, January, just with everything else that's going on, but you never know. and then I am enjoying that. I'm discovering parts of the characters that I thought I knew fairly well, but they are saying, nope, we don't do it this way, we won't do it that way. And the midpoint took a turn that even I wasn't expecting. But that's what the first draft is for. With the first draft, you are telling yourself the story. You are uncovering things. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. I'm setting myself an arbitrary target of 1,000 words a day. But I know that out of those 1,000 words, so say my manuscript ends up being 90,000, which I think it's looking to be actually. I know for a 90,000 word first draft, probably about 50%, 45 if we're being lucky, % of those words are going to either be removed, changed, or added to. So it's nice to have a goal, but I'm not overly attached to the word count. It's just a nice little target. It's arbitrary. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things. But speaking of targets, I could pull out the jumper that I'm currently knitting, but it's under everything and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to show you the cross stitch instead. I think for me, having a physical project that I'm working on alongside, or two, that I'm working on alongside the book is very helpful for me, because yes, okay, you can argue that seeing words on a page is creating, you can still see it, but it is mentally draining. Let's be honest. So if I can have something that I can visually see, that's the wrong terminology, but you know what I mean. If I can visually process something, I can see progress being made, I find that actually boosts my creativity. So I can show you the cross stitch because it's here. I'll show you the hoodie I'm knitting another time, when I'm using it. But you know, we have a cross stitch. Now I think I have showed you this before, but it was a while ago and you couldn't see the castle part coming together. But seeing this while working on, I'm pointing over there because it's where my laptop is, seeing the book come together is helpful, because I know, and sometimes when I'm stuck for words, doing something else that doesn't involve much thinking, like a cross stitch, this is a printed cross stitch, so it takes some of the counting out of it. It's like a paint by numbers, but with thread. So having that frees up some of my brain to not actively think about the words, and I find that I actually do get the words quicker. But saying that, if I'm trying to force the words, I stop. It's not worth it. One of my goals for next year, the video will be out in a couple of days, but one of my goals for next year is to have a bit more balance in my life. So having my different outlets handy and with me and understanding why I have them is a bonus. So I think I rambled on long enough. Let me know what you were up to last week. Let me know what you're planning on doing this week. Let me know what you're reading, and let me know what you're writing if you're a writer, and let me know what you are creating. If you are any kind of artist, traditional with pen and paper, digital, or fibre. And I will see you in the next video. So with that, give this video a like if you like it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about this and whatever else popped into my head, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.